Hello, it is World Wide Web, Wednesday, September 29th, 2021. Steve Sipress here, and for the life of me, it's been about a week or two, and Facebook will not allow me to reverse the image here in my iPhone, as I have done for years, recording these videos. So, like the American flag, well, everything, you see the words, but also the flag. Everything's coming out reversed, and can't seem to fix it. I just get the old spin arounder of death, and finally give up after a while and just start the recording. So here we are. This is a simple, quick, extremely effective way to get to page one of Google, the coveted page one of Google, or any other search engine. But of course, Google is the 7 million pound gorilla in the room of search. And that is, well, here's the slow way, also effective, but the slow, costly way is you can pay a lot of money. And I'm sure you've gotten the emails and the calls and the contacts from all kinds of SEO experts, search engine optimization teams and people and companies and providers who will, you pay them month after month after month after month, and they do all kinds of keyword optimization of your website and your images and your title tags and all that kind of behind the scenes stuff. And eventually, hopefully, your website starts to move up in the search end results, in the rankings, and get up there. And it gets up to the third or the second page. They're all excited. Eventually maybe you get up to that first page. And then, of course, you have to stay there. As anyone knows who's ever been on the first page of Google, been especially way at the top in the first position on Google, pretty much a license to print money. And then suddenly Google changes the algorithm, which they're always doing, and zonk, websites practically disappear, especially I'm noticing I have these rhino ears, check it out. Especially disappearing off the first page, if not all the way back to page 10 or whatever. So that can be a costly and really long-term game to play, this SEO game. Here's the shorter way to do it. Instead of, or in addition to, see, I'm always saying I live in an and world, not an or world, so I just caught myself. In addition to the SEO to get your website ranked, while you're doing that, use other websites to get ranked towards the top of the Google rankings. In other words, authoritative sites that Google already loves, like YouTube, which of course they love, they own it, and LinkedIn, and other sites like these. Just do some keyword searches for, put yourself in the, as you always do when you're looking at search, put yourself in the footsteps of your ideal prospect, how they would find you, what words and phrases they would type in to a search engine to find you. And then see what websites come right up on the first page. It's very rarely a personal or an individual website of an individual company. It's usually one of these big, massive Wikipedia, YouTube, Quora, Medium, Reddit, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, all the big sites. So what you do is you put content onto those sites, and then in that content, at least in the bio, link to your website. Even better, offer a reason for people to go to your website. So for instance, I would put a video on YouTube, and I'd say, here are 5 ways to get your website to rank higher in Google. And then I'd say, if you want more, I've got 10 more tips in a video on my website at blah, 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 blah. And so now if somebody searches, types in the term, if I titled it and done it right, somebody types in ways to rank high, or tips to rank high in the website, or whatever I said was the title, and your thing comes up, not only have you now come up, while your website is taking years and lots of money to come up with SEO stuff, you come right up there on the first page of Google. And then bonus, you link to your actual website. You get people to go there for more information, for a report, for a checklist, for a video, for an email series, for whatever it is, for more information relevant to that piece of information. Now, I've been using this for years. I have thousands and thousands and thousands of pieces of content pointing to dozens and dozens and dozens of my websites. This content is all over the internet. I put in some search terms recently, a few weeks ago, because I was talking to somebody on one of my free help calls, which you go to helpfromsteve.com, and I'll give you a few minutes some help. And I pulled up some search terms for articles I put online about 15 years ago. And they were still ranking. They were on the second, they dropped down to the second page of Google. I'm like, have not touched them in 15 years. If I went in and did anything at all to them, I would easily get them right back to the first page of Google, which they were for years and years and years. So this is stuff, you put out this content, especially if you put out what's known as evergreen content, right? Not topical stuff that comes and goes, like tactics and what's working today and what won't work tomorrow. Like you hear me talking about, this is fairly tactical, but I generally talk about strategy, which this really is strategy, and I don't see it going away anytime soon, although eventually I guess Google will change the websites that rank, and if someone's watching this years from now, they'll say, what, LinkedIn, what, that doesn't rank anymore, or Medium or Reddit or whatever else I mentioned. So, and maybe Google doesn't care anymore about authoritative sites, I don't know. But in general, the more evergreen, the more like an evergreen tree. That's where the term comes from, where you really don't have to care for it. You plant it and you barely or not at all have to care for it, and it's going to be there forever. So content that'll last for all time. So if you're a landscaper, it's these are the 5 most prominent weeds in such and such a town area. Well, that's not likely to ever change. So that's kind of evergreen content that could be up there, getting you clicks and hits and visitors to your website and calls and business and clients for years and years and years to come. Speaking of which, the company that has been doing a lot of my content, taking a lot, they take these videos, blog post articles, seminars, speaking engagements, books, everything I do, and they chop it down into little bite-sized pieces to put this content all over the internet. That company's been doing that for me. I am now in talks with them to actually purchase the business. So I might contact me. I'll at least put you in touch with them. But in the near future, it might be me, or I still put you in touch with somebody. I won't be running the thing or doing anything. I'll just be owning it. But this is such a useful, fruitful, money-making strategy that I'm actually possibly about to purchase a business that'll be doing this for my clients and anyone else that will do it for, that this strategy works like crazy. So I highly recommend you do it. That'll do it for World Wide Web Wednesday. I'm hearing some strange noises outside my home, but you know what? This week has been the first few days in months and months and months that I've had the windows open, because it's finally dipping below 90 degrees at night, down into the 70s even. And so still about 100 during the day, but we now have the windows open, nice little breeze, and I'm hearing some sounds coming from out there. I'm like, what? I don't normally hear the sounds. That's right. Because for all of pretty much May, June, July, August, and September here in way too hot and way too sunny southern Arizona, windows are hermetically sealed and the air conditioning is blasting for the entire summer. And for the first time, the air is off and I'm breathing actual air and hearing actual sounds, and I'm living in the actual world, which is kind of cool. Hope you are as well. I'll catch you tomorrow on Throwback Thursday. Over and out. Bye-bye.